spirit communicates to you in the easiest way for you.
Yes.
So I regularly space clear a hotel, and they've got a gatekeeper. I've never come across a gatekeeper before, but she's basically, she didn't even really know the owner, but she just liked her and respected her and was really grateful for what she was doing for the town, bringing this hotel in. And when she started to speak to me, she said her name was Rose. I'm like, but you're Spanish. You're clearly Spanish. So surely your name's Rosa and not Rose. It's just like, yeah, but I'm telling you in a way that you'll understand. What she actually did was confuse me, because obviously I'd understand Rosa.
It's true.
But they do. They just communicate in the easiest ways. Even the angry ones, even the ones that don't want you there, they still always communicate, or it comes through to me in English.
Yeah. Yeah, as just like I'm having a conversation.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to understand that. Am I going crazy? Because I'm just getting all these conversations and they're very noisy and I had to learn to control it, Sam.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you had to do the same.
Oh yeah, definitely. And especially because when we go away, we like old buildings. Like, I love old buildings, but so does my whole family, right? But that can be problematic. So, for example, last year we went to Salzburg and we went to the castle there. And I was like, before I went in, I was like, I am not working. Do not show me anything. I am not working. And as I walked in, there was spirits just lined up really respectfully, waiting to be sent to the light. And so I I'm not going to leave them there. I can't do that. This is why I could never go on a paranormal investigation, because I don't think I can stop myself moving them. Right? It's just what I do. So I would not be popular in those circles. But they just, and my husband's like, you're working again, because apparently my eyes go.
Right.
He's like, we're on holiday, you're working. I know, but he's like, okay, I'll just leave you to it.
So welcome back to the Passionate Pioneer podcast, series 3. You know me, I'm Beth. I am the Passionate Pioneer, and this podcast is your connection into spiritual awakenings, experiences, and the path to joyful living. And today I'm joined by Sam Ritchie. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
So for people who don't know you, Sam, would you mind giving us a quick introduction before we dive into your story?
Yes, okay. So I'm Sam Ritchie. I'm English, as you can probably tell from my accent, but I live in Spain. And I am a certificated angel guide, which means basically I studied with 𝐿𝐴 and am now actually featured on his website, the only person in Spain on his website to date. But I specialize in space clearing remotely, which is basically removing the negative energy from properties and enhancing the positive. I also read oracle cards, do past life regression, and hold space for 2 in-person spiritual circles and 1 online.
Wow, that's lovely. Now, I know that name very well, 𝐿𝐴.
Yeah.
Because I also have friends in this circle, in this spiritual circle, that we're out of the spiritual closet. And they also have worked with 𝐿𝐴. I also have some of his oracle cards, and I also work with my spirit team. So that's really interesting. I can't wait to dive into this story. So let's start at the very beginning. So describe a moment when you first realized that there was something important missing and that you wanted to do something different.
Okay, well, let's go right back to the very
Let's do that.
And it's more realizing that I wasn't normal. if you like, because as a child, I lived in the spirit realm. I didn't have imaginary friends. I had spirit friends, and humans terrified me to the point where if the doorbell rang, I went and hid. And if I had to walk across the classroom at school, I would shake, so much so that my mum used to get called into the school. Right? I was just terrified of humans. And it wasn't, I suppose I was about 12 and I was like, made a decision that I was not going to spend this lifetime terrified. I don't know what happened at that age, but it was like, I am not going to, this is not how this lifetime's going to be. So since then, I basically lived outside my comfort zone to the point where I'm like, I don't think I got one anymore. Well, that wasn't. I found I did have one when I went to press send on my computer to send my manuscript to a publisher. Then I found I had a comfort zone. That was the hardest thing I've done for a long, long time.
Right.
But I thought everyone could see spirit. I literally thought everyone could see spirit. And it wasn't till I was in my early 20s, 2021, that someone said, you probably should stop talking about that woman in the corner because no one else can see her. And I was like, oh. And it's just like this sudden realization. Oh, hang on a minute. Most of my life I've spent with spirit people and happy there, but no one else can see them. What? Hey? So after that, I tried to close it down very unsuccessfully.
Yeah, they won't let you. They'll just get noisier.
Yeah. I tried, but I did stop talking about it.
Right.
To other people
publicly.
Yeah, publicly. I went into the closet and I shut the door. But both my parents were very psychic. My mum was terrified. We moved into a house when I probably about 12 actually, and about the same age I decided I wasn't going to be scared. And we had a spirit woman who was always in the hallway or in my bedroom. And my mum was terrified of her, and she wouldn't go to bed without the hallway light being on. And so we didn't talk about it unless I was with my aunt, who is also very psychic and does this sort of work. And then we'd wind my mum up. But it wasn't until my mum died that I found out my dad could see spirit too.
Right. Well, that was going to be one of my next questions as a very, spiritual, connected to spirit from a very young age. How were your parents about it? Because my experience was completely different. So,
Yeah.
But obviously they were very accepting and I'm guessing encouraged it.
They didn't really encourage it. It was something that was not talked about. It was something that was always there, but not talked about. Unless my aunt came round, because she does similar work now too. Although when I was a child, she didn't. But it was something that just was not talked about. It was acceptable, but we don't talk about it.
Right. So it was like the unknown, right? It was like the known and the unknown speaking about it. So the auntie, was that on your mum's side or your father's side? On your mum's side. Okay.
Yeah.
My experience was when I was about 4 years old, my mum was always saying to me, stop talking to yourself. And I was confused because I wasn't talking to myself. And I slightly remember that. And also dreaming. I had a lot of very vivid dreams. But, we didn't really talk about it in the 70s, the 60s, the 70s. And even the 80s. I mean, It's only recently, I would say, probably in the last 10 years, that people have started to come out, more people to come out of the spiritual closets. And it's now talked about because now we can blend science. We can see the scientific proof of spiritual practices like meditation and the benefits that it has and the health benefits it has for your mind and your body. So tell me, let's let's continue the story then of the 20s. You went back into the closet.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
did you do? What were you doing at the time?
So at that time, I was an estate agent. So when I say I went back into the closet, it's almost, I just shut my mouth, basically. I still did what I'd always done. I just didn't tell people I was doing it anymore. I was always able to sell the houses that no one else could. And I was always able to get the best price for the houses too. And if there was a spirit, I'd move it on. And I know that sounds very simplistic, but that is how it is with me. I just ask, they go to the light and they go, and that's it. It's very rarely I get more of a problem than just, it's time to go, off you pop.
Off you go, bye-bye. Yes.
Yeah,
and it is that simple. Most of the time it is that simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sam, with spirits, they're just why can you explain that? Because this is your episode, so can you explain that to us? That why is it that they linger around and they can just easily just pop over into the light?
Yeah, I think there's a number of reasons, and there's a number of types of spirit as well. So there's spirits that are stuck, and a spirit that could be stuck would be because they don't know they're dead, or they died violently, and they can be just stuck there, really. And they can be the ones that move stuff, the ones that cause random smells and things like that. And they just have no awareness that actually their soul was meant to move on. Their body's gone. They just don't know their body's gone. And that causes a lot of upset for them because they see new people moving into their houses and they don't understand. So that is normally the reason that you would have problems in your house, and why space clearing is so helpful is because we just move them on so that they can continue their soul's journey. Then you've got the evil ones, the ones that were not nice in life and caused trouble in life, and they don't want to let go of control. And so they are a little bit more, well, they can be very in your face. They don't like it when I go into their space at all. They call me all sorts of things and get right close as my guides will let them. And they are troublemakers, and they were troublemakers in life, and they want to continue that reign of terror, if you like. And then you have the other entities. Now, I did not believe in demons. I did not want to believe in demons at all. So they gave me a house that was full of them. It was like, no, I don't believe in this. You can't give me a house that's got demons in it. I don't believe in demons. Anyway, I do now. And it was like...
Good experience.
Yeah, I was space clearing from a floor plan for a house on one of the Spanish islands, and it was just full of demonic energy and missing people, dark magic, all sorts of nastiness. And I was told to there was like a vortex, I guess, is how you describe it. And I was told to put a titanium lid on it so that they could not get out, which I did. And when I looked up, because I never look up where I'm space clearing. I want it to be authentic. What comes through comes through. But sometimes I do after the event. And this property, I was told that there was people had disappeared in the early 1900s, and some of them were buried in the garden. And so I was like, I wonder if I can find that on Google. Right?
Well, I was going to say, there was probably a history to the house then, right?
Yeah. So I couldn't find that. And this is where it's like really upsetting to me. It's like when I get names, dates and stuff, and then I can't find it. It's like, oh. But normally my client can tell me. In this instance, what came up wasn't the people that had gone missing, but the fact that this island, I've been there on holiday, and did not know this, has a history of dark magic, to the point they still celebrate dark magic now with fiestas every year. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. But that would explain why I'm getting all this demonic stuff.
Right. So that's interesting then. So even though you stopped doing everything publicly, it actually helped you, because there's a reason why, the houses don't sell. Because I know this because I've bought a number of houses over the years. Maybe I think this is my 8th house I've bought. And you can feel the energy, even if people don't believe in anything, right? If they say, oh, I don't believe in any of that. But you can, so how do you explain the energy that you can feel there? Because that's real. You can feel it, can't you, when you go into a house?
Yeah.
And that would stop people from buying it.
Yeah. How I explain it is, if you've walked into a room where there's been an argument, we even say you can cut the atmosphere with a knife.
Right.
Right. And it's like the house is a piece of clay, and it's the biggest handprint makes the biggest mark. So if there's been a lot of negativity in the property, then it leaves that energetic imprint. So what we want to do is remove the negative and make it so it's the positive handprint that's standing out. Right. So you walk in and you feel wonderful and abundant, and businesses thrive. So that's how I explain it.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? So, okay, so you did that then. You were the real estate agent, or the mogul, should we call you, because you did very well, right? And then how long did you do that until you said, okay, now I need to come out of the closet properly?
Okay, it wasn't that simple.
Right. I know. I would imagine.
It wasn't that simple. So I was an estate agent in London for about 10 years. I then left a estate agency and did a whole load of different things. Got married, had 2 kids. Well, had 2 kids, then got married, actually. And I did go back into a estate agency, but for me, it was a bit of an addiction. So with 2 young babies, wasn't really a good career fit, because I was like, I may just have to phone these clients. Right. So then I found out, I met this person and I found out I'd been space clearing, because at that point I just moved spirit on, and I didn't know that I was space clearing just by entering. And we moved to a house, and I knew there was no spirits there, but it was dark energy. It didn't feel comfortable. And I was talking to this woman that I just met, who was spiritually minded, and she said, oh, you want to space clear that? So this is like 25 years ago. Google was not a thing then. You couldn't just type in, what is space clearing? So I followed her instructions, which was basically set the intention to clear the energy, clap around the property, and use incense. That was it. And that's what I did. And as I did it, I got like a movie about what happened in the house. It was like watching a film, the things that had happened in the house. So I excitingly told my new friend all of this, and she's like, most people don't see anything, don't you? No, of course I don't know that. I thought it was normal. And so it was like, oh, okay. And I didn't really think anything else of it, if I'm honest. I space cleared every house that we've lived in, and we've lived in a lot. And if someone had a problem, I'd go, oh, I'll come and space clear for you. People have got strange smells going on, stuff moving. Oh, don't worry, I'll come and space clear that for you. And it wasn't until, and we moved to Spain. We ran a bar in Spain, which we had a whole coach load of spirit visitors, which was quite fun. Although one used to call my name when I was in the kitchen, and there was no one else in the bar, so that I'd go out and then they'd just laugh at me. Like, really?
Prankster.
Yeah. The hand in the fridge was a bit of a shock. We were a really busy night, and I went to get a beer out of the fridge, and there was this like hand. I was like, "Whoa, what's that?" But again, it was him just playing. It wasn't particularly worrying. It just surprised me.
Right. Yeah. Well, that as it would, right? Oh, there's a hand in the fridge. Don't worry. Keep calm and carry on.
Oh yeah, and it was a day when we were heaving as well. You know, when you haven't got time to like go, what the? It's just okay, just carry on. I'll pretend I haven't seen anything.
But they can do
And
that, can't they, spirits? They can just take something and just put it in, like they'll
yeah.
take your keys or they'll take some jewelry and they'll just move it around.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder, was the hand just an imaginatory thing, or do
I
you think
think it
was it
was more of a hologram than an
hologram?
actual,
Right,
yeah,
okay, right,
more than
okay.
an actual
Yeah, I
hand.
hadn't
But
gone to
I
the
didn't
hospital,
touch it.
taken a hand and put it in the
I
fridge.
found this in my fridge.
Whose does this belong to?
Anyone lost a hand?
Dear God, that's a story, isn't it, for the grandkids, right?
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, but so then what happens? We finished the bar, we moved, and I was still working in bars, but I was working for other people. And then COVID hit, and all the bars shut, and I didn't have a job anymore because none of the bars where I was cooking were open anymore. So I was like, okay, so I can see this as an opportunity to spend some time and study and really dive into my spirituality, which is what I did. So I took all of Carl's courses and got certificated by him. And at that time, as I'm sure you'll all remember, it was very us and them. It was everyone, the huge divide between anyone. You couldn't even think anything against the mainstream. And people were scared and really marginalized. And I wanted to practice and I wanted to help people and I wanted to make them feel safe. So I started doing free readings to A, get practice and B, to help them. So I tend to like do things in the extreme. So I think I did about 500 readings. Like because I needed to know that I could do this. I needed the
Yeah,
feedback that yeah, I wasn't making it up.
yeah,
That yes, I could actually really help people with this.
yeah.
But then a great thing happened. People started to want to pay me. And I'm like, that would be handy because that would put food on my table. So I set up a website and I put space clearing on it, thinking it's going to be a small part of my business. I live in rural Spain. I've got to be able to get there. You've got to have a serious problem or be spiritually minded. So I just put it on there. And a friend of mine whose holiday home I'd space cleared 10 years before and forgotten I'd done it, emailed me and said, Sam, I'm at my wit's end. I've got property in the UK. It was my grandparents. The tenants won't let me in and it needs essential maintenance. And I don't know what else to do. Can you space clear it from a photo and an address? And I said, no clue, we'll give it a go. And I was like, okay, I need the floor plan. Don't know why, but I need the floor plan. So she sent the floor plan over. As I drew the plan out, I started getting all this information, including her grandparents' names. I was like, I can do this. With 24 hours of had let her in and the work had been scheduled. And it was like, that's a game changer.
Right.
That's a game changer.
Would you call that like remote viewing? Because I know Edgar
Yes, similar.
Casey was, he would do readings for people across the other side of the world, and it's basically just tapping into the records.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's tapping into the Akashic records, like the library, let's just say, for our audience.
Yeah.
The library of all human experience.
Of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And and that's probably what it was, right?
Yeah.
Something. So that was an incredible experience.
It was. And now I've space cleared properties in 7 countries to date. And I've written a book about it.
Right. Okay. I didn't know about the book, so that's new
You
for me.
didn't know about my book?
I didn't know about the book. No, that's bad, isn't it?
That's my book. Oh, hang on. My ring light's in the way.
Echoes Within Walls. Yes,
Yeah.
they do talk. Oh, right.
So that's...
I missed that, Sam. I missed that completely. Right. Amazing.
And it's the case studies. It explains what space clearing is, how you can do it for yourself as well, and the case studies that I've experienced. So, yeah,
that's crazy. So from that one experience, now you space clear for lots of people all over the world.
Yeah,
isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Global energy.
Yeah.
People ask about that online. How do you do the work online? And again, it's to do with energy, because energy doesn't lie. Energy will go through the computer. I don't even need the computer. I can just, I can probably just, telepathically.
Yeah. Well, how many times have you thought about someone and then they've wronged you?
Exactly. And, the analogy of walking into the room and you can feel that energy, you can cut it with a knife, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. And it's funny, isn't it? Because cats can pick up on this energy. They've got more than, I'm not sure about dogs, but
dogs do too.
Maybe, but I think cats more so. They seem to have this sixth sense. And I mean, when I bought my house in Italy, this house is very old. But I've never felt that negative energy before. Sure, there's a couple of times when there's some little things happen, and I know I know how to deal with that. But my cat specifically likes the corner of this room, and I'm very feng shui. I cut off the corners and stuff, right? And I've got my little table set of my tarot cards and oracle cards and crystals and my singing bowl and etc. But he seems to really like to go into that corner and jump up on the bookshelf, and he just cries at the wall. And so I know somebody's here, and I think I know who it is. But it's one of my spirit team. I think it's my grandmother. And sometimes she just pops in to say hello, and he can see her. Now I can't see spirits. I hear them very clearly. I feel their energy, and I can journal and write their messages. They're just like speaking English. It's just,
Yeah, but that's a really interesting point you've just picked up on there. The spirit communicates to you in the easiest way for you.
Yes.
So I regularly space clear a hotel, and they've got a gatekeeper. I've never come across a gatekeeper before, but she's basically, she didn't even really know the owner, but she just liked her and respected her and was really grateful for what she was doing for the town, bringing this hotel in. And when she started to speak to me, she said her name was Rose. I'm like, but you're Spanish. You're clearly Spanish. So surely your name's Rosa and not Rose. It's just like, yeah, but I'm telling you in a way that you'll understand. What she actually did was confuse me, because obviously I'd understand Rosa.
True.
But they do. They just communicate in the easiest ways. Even the angry ones, even the ones that don't want you there, they still always communicate, or it comes through to me in English.
Yeah. Yeah, as just like I'm having a conversation.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to understand that. Am I going crazy? Because I'm just getting all these conversations and they're very noisy and I had to learn to control it, Sam.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you had to do the same.
Oh yeah, definitely. And especially because when we go away, we like old buildings. Like I love old buildings, but so does my whole family, right? But that can be problematic. So, for example, last year we went to Salzburg and we went to the castle there. And I was like, before I went in, I was like, I am not working. Do not show me anything. I am not working. And as I walked in, there was spirits just lined up really respectfully, waiting to be sent to the light. And so I I'm not going to leave them there. I can't do that. This is why I could never go on a paranormal investigation, because I don't think I can stop myself moving them. Right? It's just what I do. So I would not be popular in those circles. But they just, and my husband's like, you're working again. Because apparently my eyes go.
Right.
He's like, we're on holiday, you're working. I know, but he's like, okay, I'll just leave you to it.
So how does that feel, Sam, when you see them and you've always seen them and that's something that is normal for you? I've seen maybe once or twice in my life, some reflections, some apparitions, but not really. Most of the time I can just feel their energy. Sometimes I sing a song, I know somebody's, because a song comes through, or I get the smell sometimes.
Yeah.
And if I'm singing a song, I know, and then I'm like, okay, who's that then? Who wants to come through today? Who's coming through? But he said, how? Let me start that again. How is it? How do you feel about that? That you see these spirits, like you go into that church and they're just lined up waiting for you.
It's normal for me, right? So it's like, it's just normal for me. And I don't always see. Sometimes I just hear. Like my spirit guides, I don't often see them. Normally I just hear them. Or although I'm told that when I'm connecting with them, my eyes go again. I go like that. And I do have a tendency to say, okay.
Hi, I just wanted to pop on here just to say thank you so much for being here, watching this video and supporting my channel. It is my honor to bring you these stories from these incredible women who are passionate about their lives and have alchemized their spiritual awakening journeys from service to self to service to others. If you would like to be part of my Passionista community, just grab a free copy of my workbook, which you'll find a link below. It's called Your Passionista Journey Starts Here. And start making those small changes to your life that you need right now. Thank you again for being here. Love you to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you know when all the new weekly episodes are live. Thanks again, Passionista. Much love and joy. Now let's get back to the interview.
But so I don't always see them, but often I do. And it's just normal. I can't really explain it. In fact, my husband sometimes, for fun, will stand behind a door and and make me jump. And he'll go, but you knew someone was here. And I say, I thought it was a spirit. He's like, you're the only person I know that jumps at a human because you're expecting a spirit.
So if it's a spirit, you're just like, come on out of the shadows. I can see you.
Yeah, exactly. But when I was like, God, it's you. What are you doing there?
So you're better with humans these days then, yes?
I am better with humans these days.
Right.
Thankfully.
And so your family, your husband and your children, they obviously know about your work and what you do, and how do they feel about it?
Yeah, well, my husband's always known. Very early on, he took me to this beautiful pub in the south of England, and I was like, this, because there were spirits dancing on the ceiling. I mean, it was random. They were on the ceiling, but they were just in the most stunning dresses. And I just asked him, "Can you see them?" And he's like, "No." Right? So he's always known. So it was no surprise there. Um, and my kids, they just accept it. And both of them are very spiritual. And both of them can see as well.
Right.
And my youngest daughter used to talk about her other mummy. She doesn't remember so much now, but when she was very little, she used to tell me about her other mummy all the time.
Right.
So
Is that from a past life, maybe?
yeah,
Reincarnation?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Right.
definitely. So yeah, no, they're all quite okay with it. Well, they haven't got a choice really, to be fair. This is me, you know. So if you're going to be part of my life, you have got to realize that I'm not like a lot of other people,
Right.
and that's fine. I mean, my
Right.
mother-in-law didn't know what I did until my book came out.
Right. Right.
And then they were the first people to buy it, bless them. But she did quiz my daughter considerably about it. Now she wasn't very well, and my husband said, "Can you send healing to my mum?" She phoned me and said, "I do not know what you've done, but I feel so much better. Thank you so much. I've read, God, I had an article in Psychic News that when she was there, when my husband was there and I was sending healing. So I've read your article twice and I'm going to read your book again now because I think I'm understanding it."
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, for me, it was a different experience because mine, it wasn't acceptable to talk about. It was too woo for my family. They don't really believe in anything. But I don't care. I talk about it, not as much as maybe I would like to,
Yeah.
but I do. But I'm not ashamed of talking about it anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from that's from previous incarnations when,
For
you know,
sure.
that's probably why you were afraid of humans and talking about it
For
because,
sure. Because I have past life memory as well.
right.
So um I know there was at least 4 lifetimes where I've been murdered for this.
Yeah.
Right. So it's no wonder as a child I was terrified. Right. Because
Yeah.
all I can remember from these lives is being murdered.
And it does tell yeah, well, it's true, and you can't explain why, but you just don't. You just can't really be honest about it. Well, that's how I felt. I felt kind of stifled, like I just can't talk about this, and every time I start to talk about it, I would like there's this stuttering.
Yeah.
It really was very difficult for me to find my voice,
Yeah.
and have the courage to say, yeah, I've got a spirit team. You know.
Yeah. And it took me, well, till I was 45. But then when the book came out last year, so I was 50 last year, that's when I was like, suddenly it's like, no, you know what? And I teach it all the time, but it's still not easy. Other people's opinions of me are none of my business,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But it is really something that you have to practice. It really is none of my business what people think of me. That's their stuff, not mine. This is who I am. If you don't like me, that's absolutely fine. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, right? And I don't have to be.
And
But
also, I
I'm
think the
not
older
gonna,
you get, Sam, sorry, the older you
yeah,
get, I think the less you care, right?
yeah.
When
And
you
it's like
reach your 40s, you don't care.
I'm not gonna try and fit in anymore.
No,
I'm not. And you know what? Life's so much easier.
It really is, right? When you're just caring less, and then that
Yeah.
doesn't mean in a malicious way. It's just but you
No.
really stop caring about other people's opinions of you,
Yeah.
because people are going to pull you down. They're going to pull you down or raise you up,
Yeah.
regardless of what you do. Some people
Yeah.
will just raise you up, and some people are going to pull you down, whether you,
Whatever you do. Yeah.
whatever you do, right?
Yeah.
So you know what? So why not? It is difficult though, Sam, to really find that inner voice and have the courage. And what was that moment for you when you realized that was you're going to
It became, it suddenly became, it wasn't a choice anymore. I had to. I just had no choice anymore. I had to step into that. And also because everything had been orchestrated and it felt like that as well, I have no work, I have all this time. Oh, Gray's doing a certification. I had to borrow the money to do that. And it's like, but everything fell into place. Exactly. It's like, there is no denying this anymore. I just have to be me. And another thing I say quite a lot is just be you, because everyone else is taken.
Right, right. That's a nice expression, isn't it? Because everybody else is taken.
Yeah.
But I do think, the amount of women I speak to that really, the pandemic and the lockdown was really a chance for us, I think, to really just sit down and say, what do I want out of my life? What have I done? And what do I want my future to look like? Because we've just been asleep,
Yeah.
going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, and we're just like little robots.
Yeah.
And I think it was a chance, right, to set ourselves
Absolutely.
free.
Yeah. It was a big wake-up call. We're living in a really quite interesting times.
Right.
And yeah, it may be sticky, it may feel uncomfortable, but it's a wake up.
Well, what I found interesting was the fact that, we were sort of, I mean, I was doing some things online before, but suddenly everything
Yeah,
went
went
online.
online. Yeah.
And for me, I found that quite amazing. Like you've done space clearing, for across the world, but I'm sure you've had meetings as well online with them. You've spoken to
Yeah.
them online,
Yeah.
and look at my podcast. I speak to people from all over the world, and this for me blows my mind. It's just we are connected so in a much more profound way now
Yeah.
than
And
ever before.
especially where I live in rural Spain. When I first moved here, we lived in a really small village and the internet was pretty much non-existent. Um, and to phone my dad or my grandparents, it would cost me a lot of money. Um, and then suddenly internet and it was free to call them. And now, I hold space for Spiritual Circle online, and we have members in the UK, America, in Spain as well. And it's like, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And we're
Is it
all like-minded and we can be in that space together, even though we're
right?
not physically together.
Right, but we are there energetically together.
Yes, exactly.
Right, there's that energy word again. Um, and I think that, when you've, it also encourages and inspires and motivates other people to, that were maybe in the closet or one
Yeah.
foot out or the door's just opened,
Yeah.
and they can, instead of being, if you're in a small village or you're in a small town and there's nobody that understands, what you're experiencing, you can find your tribe. You can find that online. You can find it
Yeah.
anywhere online. You can find your tribe. And I think that's really important as well, right, Sam?
I totally agree with you. And I've just started working with a pagan witch. So she's totally the opposite end of the spiritual scale. But I got a message that I had to work with her. And so I sent her a message. She said, I've been waiting for this message because I got told you were going to message. No, of course you did. But I think the reason we have to work together is to show that there's no right or wrong on your spiritual path, that it's a very individual way. And you're not everything's gonna resonate with you. And it's using your own discernment to go, you know what? I like most of what she says, but I don't like all of it. Well, leave the bit you don't like. And it is what I'm hoping to be doing is showing people that it's okay to have your own path. In fact, you should have your own path. And there is no right or wrong. There is no my way or the highway. It's what suits you as an individual, and take the things, I've looked at loads of people and studied loads of stuff, and I get excited. I go, "Ooh, new course," and I have to like rein myself in. It's like, really, when are you going to have time to do that? And it just go, but I don't agree with everything they say, and I don't have to. I can find my own way.
That's great. Yeah, because what I was going to say is we all have a very unique fingerprint.
Yes.
That's unique to you. So there is nobody else like you on the planet.
No.
So let's talk a little bit about the work that you do with, because Kyle Gray's spirit angels, his oracle cards are angels and ancestors,
the angel guides,
guides,
keepers of the light,
keepers of the light,
angelic, yes.
So you're working with, obviously you work with him and you've trained with him. Tell us a little bit about that work and what you do, because you talked about the space clearing.
Yeah.
Talk about how you connect with them.
Okay, so actually everything I do is based around the angels. I work primarily with Archangel Michael, Metatron. I also work quite a lot with Raphael, and I just call in who I want. But I tell people, you don't have to get tied up on their names, right? If you say angels, the right one's going to turn up. So you don't need to get stuck on that. With the certification that I did with Kyle Gray, it's all about reading oracle cards, and it's all about building that muscle, which we all have, and just really tuning in to your own intuition with it. And to become certificated, you had to read for someone you didn't know. You just knew their name, first name, and there was like one line of what they were having an issue with. And then you had to do a whole reading for them, which is really cool, because I took that on board, and online I was doing readings for people. Yes, I met them on Facebook. I didn't look at that profile. They just sent me their name. And that was really cool. Didn't even see them. And that really builds in, okay, I can do this. I am connected. So Kyle Gray is all about working with oracle cards, really. Everything else I do is apart from that, if you understand. So everything I do is connected, obviously. And it's deeply rooted within the angelic now, but organically it wasn't. Does that make sense?
Organically, it wasn't.
No.
What does that mean, organically?
Well, I didn't know I was doing it. Half of the time, I didn't know I was doing it. So yes, I was working with the angels, but I didn't know I was working with the angels, is what I mean by that.
Right. Yeah. It's I like the way you just explained that. You just have a name, because I've just had a recent influx of oracle card readings. I don't know why. It must be just the now, or they've just found me. I don't know. Anyway, and I've done the same. And I do video recordings for them so they can see me and they can see the
Yeah.
cards and and it's a story that unfolds. And I've just said, just ask me a few questions that what do you need to know? Because it's quite
Yeah.
general otherwise. Let's get a little bit more specific. And the story just unfolds.
Yeah.
But you've got to get out of your own way.
Yes.
You're going to step away from the ego and just let the information come. And that's about that's about letting go and trusting. And
Yeah.
how did you learn to do that, Sam?
Just by doing it. Just by doing it. And it's much easier to read for someone you don't know, or you have a loose relationship. It's much harder to I really struggle to read for my husband. Really struggle. I know him too well. My ego gets in the way.
Yeah.
And I journal every day and I pull a card for myself. My ego gets in the way. So
Yeah.
I read the book.
I find it really difficult to read for myself as well, right?
So I read the book. I read the guidebook. I know what the card's saying. But I'm like, okay, especially if it's card I don't want to see.
Exactly.
Like,
You're like, oh no, it's the same card.
oh no, yeah. And putting it back doesn't work because it always comes back out again.
Comes back out again. And also
So,
with oracle cards, I find, Sam, is that you can pull the same oracle card for one person and the same for another person with a completely different message,
oh yeah, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. I do lives every other Tuesday, where I literally go on my Facebook and I say, who wants a card? And I normally have between 13 and 18 people. This is quick fire because I'm only on there about 40 minutes.
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
right? But I can get the same card 3 times with 3 different messages.
Yeah. And that is about letting go and trusting, isn't it? Because the spiritual journey is also about let go. Because we, as humans, we're talking about ego. You're talking about you want control. We're very lazy. Sometimes we just want the direct answer, which doesn't always come. It's not that easy because every path is different. It's not cookie cutter.
No.
Just follow this. Just follow this same path here. You'll be fine.
Yeah. No.
You won't be. Right.
And it's like oracle cards as well. There's some, well, I love all oracle cards if I'm honest, but there's some that I like working with more than others. They just resonate with me more. So it's like when someone asks me, I often say to people, go and get yourself an oracle card. They're like, how do I choose? Well, if you go online or you stand in a shop and it's the ones that jump out at you. That's how you choose.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't have to be the same ones I've got.
No, exactly. And I've got, as I said, I've got two 𝐏𝐬𝐫 𝐿. I've got the Akashic Records. I've got an animal oracle deck as well, and a Lemurian.
Ooh.
Because I really like the Lemurians. I'm tied to the Lemurians. I'm not an Atlantean, I'm a Lemurian. So that's my ancestry right there. And sometimes, but they're very big cards. They're beautifully illustrated, beautiful big cards. But again, different messages for the same card for different people. But I love the fact that you've just trusted your journey and you've dipped in and out of the closet throughout your life, right? Which is normal, I think.
Yeah, and life gets in the way.
Yeah.
And the thing is not to beat yourself up when life gets in the way. Just go, all right, life's got in the way. Now I'm back on that path again. But for me, it's been constant. For the last probably 6 years, I've journaled every day with very few exceptions. Because for me, if I'm writing, and it doesn't have to be a lot, it can be, I went to the supermarket, it doesn't have to be a lot. But for me, life goes better when I'm doing spiritual practice. And for me, writing is part of that.
Yeah. I'm also a prolific writer. I always say the best gifts for me are a notebook or a beautiful pen.
Yeah.
And I'm happy as Larry, and I'll have just a collect. I've got a collection of notebooks that
Yeah.
get filled very fast.
Yeah.
But lots of people aren't writers, or they find it very difficult to meditate. So, what spiritual practices or tools do you find the most helpful for you, or what do you recommend?
Okay, so for anyone who struggles to meditate, change your opinion on what meditation is. Right? If you're
Because we're not all
trying,
Buddhas, right?
right, if you're trying to go from living in this material world to sitting for 2 hours and turning your chatter off, it's not going to happen.
No.
Not going to happen. My brain goes 300 miles an hour most of the time. For me, even when I'm meditating, but it's going, no, I'm meditating now, and pulling yourself back, not trying to shut it up. Okay, I hear you. I'm meditating, right? And pulling yourself back. But for me, every morning I have a cup of tea and I sit on my terrace and with nothing, no music, no internet. I don't look at any of my messages until I've done my journaling and my yoga, right? That's just me. I personally don't think it's healthy to get straight up and put your phone on. For me, it doesn't work. But anyone, if you're sitting quietly with no distraction, with no music, no TV, no nothing, you're meditating. If you're washing up with nothing, you're meditating. If you're gardening or walking, you're meditating. So yes, you can do guided meditations, and yes, they're extremely powerful. But if you're struggling with that, try washing up without the radio on. That's meditating.
Or reading a chapter of a book and you just zone out.
Yeah.
Right?
Or when you drive.
When you drive as well, you do. You're on autopilot, and that's zoning out, and that's meditation. Suddenly, you just come back, and you're like,
how did I get home?
How did I get here? I don't remember driving that piece of road. That's dangerous.
Again, we have to trust that we would actually become, not doing it on purpose. In fact, where I live on a dry riverbed, although it wasn't dry yesterday. Today it's dry. And there's a very bendy road. So I've got into the habit of going, is there anything coming? Tell me if there's anything coming. Because otherwise I can drive quite quickly around that. So they tell me if there's something coming. So I know, okay, on this bend, I need to slow right down because there's something coming towards me.
Right. Yeah, as my dad used to say, you're a bit heavy-footed.
Yeah.
I
just want to get to where I'm going normally.
So, okay, so we've talked about the spiritual journey. What about your, since coming out of the spiritual closet fully and doing this training, how have your relationships and your daily life and your overall well-being changed?
It's so much better. Life is so much easier when you're not trying to be who you're not. Yeah, people have gone by the wayside, but that's a positive. Not everyone's meant to be with you for your whole lifetime. Interestingly, quite a number of people from school have reappeared, which and they're like, I've been told on numerous times, well, my mum always used to say you were older than your years. and quite a few of them, not spiritual, now follow my work and now ask for readings, come to circles. And I find that interesting that some people have fallen away. Some people that said they were spiritual have fallen away as well. And then others have reappeared. And it's just like, okay, I'm trusting. I don't need to be in a great crowd of people. I'm quite happy on my own.
Yeah, me too. We both live rurally, You're in rural Spain, I'm in rural Italy. Up a mountain, as my
Yeah,
family says, Beth's up a mountain on her. Nobody around, right?
yeah. Yeah, and we moved here on purpose
Yeah,
to not be in a village anymore, to not be around a lot of people.
yeah, me too. Me too. So I can choose. And it is
Yeah,
nice waking up, and it is nice to have, the to see the falcons flying around and to hear the
yeah,
birds singing and to watch Mother Nature changing in its seasons.
yeah,
It is really nice, isn't it?
yeah.
Um, so I'm going to finish with two questions that I ask all my guests. And the
Okay.
first one is, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Be braver. Stand in your power. Don't waste all those years slogging in hot kitchens for, for 12, 15 hours a day when you could be just being you.
Very good. Yes, couldn't agree more. I would just put in corporate world. Stay away from the corporate world.
Yeah.
That's me. What do you hope your story will inspire in other women who are looking to live a more purposeful and joyful life, Sam?
I hope that my story gives them permission to do that. That by me stepping into my power gives other people permission to step into theirs, however that looks for them.
Nice. A million thanks to Sam for joining me today. Thanks to our audience for hanging out with us. We hope you find it inspiring and empowering, and you'll find all you need to know about both of us in the show notes below. So until next time, this is the Passionate Pioneer and Sam signing off.
Bye.
Toodaloo. Wow, another powerful Passionista conversation. I hope that this guest's journey, experience, and story has inspired something deep within you. Remember, it's about following the joy moments in your life. It's a beautiful dance with the universe. If you would like to dive deeper into your joy journey with me, you will find all the links below this video, including a link to a free workbook that will help you to start your joy journey. And until next time, Passionista, I'll say goodbye. Much love and joy.